Hi again, everyone. Glad you're with us in the Cobb TV studios with Chairman Mike Boyce for our weekly chat. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ross. I'm in my driving to Savannah clothes. This is the weekend of the chairmans of the county get together and we go to class. I'm going to class tomorrow on finance, and then we have a convention on Saturday and Sunday, and then I'll be back Sunday night.
This is an ACCG event?
Right.
Yeah. And then plenty to work on, obviously, when you get back, and there are still some lingering questions, even though we're in the very early stages about the transit bill and where we stand on that.
Yeah, that's a great start to the video this week. I know that a lot of people have a lot of opinions about transit in Cobb County, and that's exactly what they are, their opinions. I have not seen a single survey or study done that determines what our needs are here in the county with regard to transit, which is why this transit bill has actually been the genesis for what we're about to do here. First of all, the bill very specifically lays the responsibility for any kind of a transit program in the hands of the delegation and the board. We as the board are responsible for executing whatever plan that we come up with based on our collaboration with the delegation. But this is a partnership, and the intent was to make sure that the people in this county have as many representatives as possible to shape what we're going to do in here, plus to bring the public into the equation. So the bottom line is that sometime we're looking in June, we're going to have what we call a stakeholder meeting, where the delegation and the board get together, and it'll be open to the public, and we're going to have an informed source talk to us about what the HB 930 really says and what its intent was. And that's going to be the common starting point for the discussion for this very long, winding road called the Transit Plan for Cobb County.
Yeah, and I think one of the keys of that is that the bill says a lot of things, but it also carves Cobb County out in a unique fashion. Yes,
it does. And just let me sit here and turn off my phone. Like I said here, long ago there are a lot of fingers in the pie, or the cake. It's multi-layered. I know everyone has an opinion about transit, but what's going to happen is the chamber and the two CIDs in the county, or at least two of the three, have agreed to fund a survey, countywide survey, to nail down specifically what it is the population of the county wants with regard to transit. And it's going to be very specifically addressed about certain questions, about projects. It's going to address the areas. So we're going to be able to take all this data and look and narrow down and define what each part of this county wants with regard to transit. So we're hoping to have this survey done by the time we have the delegation board meeting in June, so we can have what I always like to call an informed discussion based on facts.
Right. And then this all culminates, I mean, it's like we mentioned, a long road, but voters likely won't have a vote on this, a final say, until November of next year.
Right, if we choose to go that route.
Right.
And remember, there are three different options. One option is that we simply join MARTA. Another option is we have a countywide tax. And the third option is that we have a special service district carved out and that only that district is taxed. So again, there's plenty of things to chew on here, plenty of opportunity for people over a beer or a Coke to talk about these things. But what I would ask people is just be patient. Let's do this stakeholder meeting here. Let's find out what the bill really says. And then the delegation and the board will engage all of you in various forums here to find out, along with the survey and the transit study, which, by the way, we've been doing now for almost a year, to identify what our needs are, specifically with regard to transit.
Transit is part of quality of life in Cobb County, and you sent me some information yesterday after talking with Travel and Tourism and the Chamber, something called Atlanta's or Cobb Sweet Spots, Metro Atlanta Sweet Spots, that highlights activities people do in Cobb County, and then they post that on social media, and then we're able to see what they're doing.
That's exactly. Yeah, it's pretty amazing here. I have a monthly meeting with the Cobb Chamber and the Cobb Tourism and Travel, and that's to make sure that we're all speaking from the same sheet of music. And yesterday, Holly Quinlan, who heads Cobb Tourism and Travel, showed me a product which is truly mind-blowing. There are so many things going on in Cobb County, and as you'll see from the screen here, we have all these sporting events that are happening. Every one of these sporting events is happening in a different place in Cobb County. So that alone, for business purposes, is fantastic. but it also allows for the people in this county to be able to get out and see different parts of the county. Well, in addition to these sports events, there are all sorts of other programs going on. We had the Big Shanty Festival in Kennesaw last weekend. Taste of Marietta is this weekend. And what happens at these events is people using their iPhones, they take pictures of what they're doing there and they send them out on social media. Well, believe it or not, in this day and age where there really is no privacy, we're able to capture these pictures and put them together and shape them by district. So, you know, whatever's happening in Commissioner Burrow's district, you know, there's a set of pictures of people that the software allows us to show us what's going on in that district, and we're going to send this out. And the importance of this is that, as I've been saying for a long time here, nobody gets their information from one source today. It's multifaceted information sources today. And this is a whole new way of showing people all the exciting things that are happening in Cobb County that really have nothing to do with what we do when we send out messages, you know, from Cobb on Cobb TV and on our social media. There's a broad band of information, and I think we're just trying to gather as much as we can and to show people, A, these are people telling you what's great about their county, how much they're enjoying it, and we want to we want to share that joy with you so you can get out there and do these things too. So slowly but surely here, we are, you know, entering the 21st century in our ability to tell people this is a county where you can safely work, play, live, and pursue your dreams.
And along those lines, I was talking with Commissioner Ott last week about some initiatives going on when it comes to combating the opioid crisis.
Right.
Our medical examiner just got an award down at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Atlanta for the work he's doing there. That's one of many issues that we're tackling in this county that I don't think a lot of people are aware about.
No, there are some, Michael Murphy is our special projects guru, and he's been quietly but earnestly working on some projects that are near and dear to my heart. As I go around doing ride-alongs with the police, I see the homeless in Cobb County. And the thing that has captured my attention about the homeless programs we have in Cobb County is that we have a lot of different institutions, nonprofits, doing things to address the homeless population, but they're not tied together in an umbrella organization. So, plus the second part is that, you know, we do a good job of taking care of them as much as we can, but there are a lot of people in this county living in these forested areas of the county. That doesn't do us any good to have them in there, because eventually we're going to take care of them through our social network. They're going to be coming down to the Board of Health to take care of their health problems. They might end up in jail. So the bottom line is, whether we like it or not, we're going to eventually have to be funding, taking care of many of these homeless people. So what I'm trying to do is work with Michael Murphy, and Commissioner Cupid has also been working with us on this, to find a program where, first of all, we tie together on an umbrella organization of some kind all these homeless programs so that you have a single point of entry. If you have a question about homeless in Cobb County, you go to this reference point, and they have connections to all the assets we have here, which are many. That's one part. The second thing is workforce housing. You know, we have policemen that have take-home cars, and it doesn't do us any good to have those take-home cars and they park them in our neighboring counties. All right? And don't get me wrong, we have great relations with our counties around us, and I have no problem with people living wherever they want to. But nonetheless, you know, if you want to have a Cobb County police car, it'd be nice to have it parked in Cobb County and not somewhere outside. And the reason they live outside the county is because they can't afford to live here. So we're doing a number of initiatives through the private sector. Michael and I and the Economic Development Department here in the county have been talking to banks to see how we can connect their responsibilities on the Community Reinvestment Act, which is a federal law that requires them to give back to the communities in some form. See if we can connect their programs with affordable housing for our firemen, our policemen, our teachers, nurses, those that are critical parts of our county, not only just work in the county, but also outside the county government, but are so important to making sure that, you know, they provide the foundation for the high quality of life we have here. And then the opioid crisis, you know, that is the interesting statistic the other day when I was in New York. For the first time in a long time, the longevity of Americans is decreasing, not increasing. And a large part of that decrease is owed to the opioid crisis. The opioid crisis is the magnitude of it is just absolutely mind-blowing. But I think one of the reasons that it's not advertised so much is because it happens among families where it just doesn't happen to us, and they don't like to talk about it. But ladies and gentlemen, that crisis is here. Our medical examiner has just won an award for his participation in addressing this issue. The board on Tuesday night funded another position for the district attorney's office where that ADA will be assigned to in process in the jail, and they will be able to assess whether some people that are going to jail that have been arrested for drugs may be qualified for one of our diversion programs. So we're taking some small steps. Commissioner Ott has made some trips up to another program in Maryland, along with Michael Murphy and the county manager, to look at some of the programs they have here. We've entered into the lawsuit on a national basis against the pharmacy companies that are distributing these drugs or having an impact on us. So it's a multifaceted approach for a very serious problem. But we're going to quickly get our arms around this, and we're going to start doing some things here to address this problem here in Cobb County.
And you just mentioned that lawsuit, and the interesting thing I found on that is that the judges have been clear that if there's awards to be given to any of the defendants, such as Cobb County, that money doesn't go to building roads, it goes to fighting the opioid crisis.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we've seen it on the national level. I know the federal government has been discussing it, but the time to talk in the county is over. We got to do something about this. And there are a number of incredible programs in the county right now. As you know, we have the program down at the zone, and working very close with them to try and support their program. But these are already partnerships that are existing in the county. So I just encourage everybody that, you know, if you have a family member that has this medical problem, and it is a medical problem. We don't want to turn this into a criminal activity. This is a medical problem. Seek help, because this county has many programs that are willing to do that and bring some degree of relief. But make no bones about it, this is not something where you heal the patient overnight. This has to have a support basis behind the patient, and we have those programs here in Cobb County. I'm just hoping that we're not overwhelmed by the number of people that will be affected by this medical issue.
Yeah, the folks at the zone will tell you their journey had been years.
Yes, it has. Right.
In the making. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Enjoy your trip to Savannah. Learn a lot while you're there.
All right.
Come on back. I also want to remind you that we do have the 7 town halls scheduled for the upcoming budget debate. We'll put those dates and times on the screen here right now. We invite you to also email any of your comments you might have to the chairman and/or commissioners. And in the meantime, we will see you next week.
I'll be back.
All right.
Thanks.